Good morning. Today, a new initiative will be launched to improve education here in Central Texas. We'll tell you all about it.
Later on this morning, a study will be released that will detail ways for students to get a better education right here in Central Texas.
The idea is to use classes that would offer real-world experience to help students in math and science. We're live this morning with Kate Whiteout at the Frank Erwin Center and the details. Kate, what's it all about?
Hey, good morning, guys. Well, the E3 Alliance has come up with a strategic plan to help students do better in school. And this morning, they're going to release their findings here at the Frank Erwin Center. And one of the big reasons for this is studies show that 40% of students that are entering kindergarten are 18 months behind where they're supposed to be. So when you start off behind, it can certainly be hard to catch up. And so one of the ideas is to expand a real-life world experience inside the classroom.
A motor, maybe drop back to here, center of pressure. This is research, design, and development. It's a CADE elective that we teach rocket science through.
This is not your ordinary high school class.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to be cool, man. I really look forward to this. This is going to be a lot of fun.
It's more than just making rockets. This special engineering curriculum at Aikens High School in South Austin teaches students how to apply the math and science they're learning in the classroom.
In geometry, you learn how to do the area of a trapezoid, and every kid says, well, what the heck do I need this for? Why does this matter? Well, all these rockets up here have trapezoid-shaped fins, and the size and the shape and the area and all that actually matters.
The idea of applying a real-life setting is the catalyst for a new approach to education to get students college and career ready.
If you look at 8th grade tax scores, you'll see often 50% achievement gaps in passing rates between different student populations due to math and science scores. So they're really struggling.
That's why today the E3 Alliance is releasing the blueprint for the future, starting with getting students the proper education starting in kindergarten.
Do they have the kind of environment and support in the community to get the kinds of help they need, whether it's tutoring, whether it's support outside of classes?
That way, by the time students reach high school, rocket science class puts their knowledge to a practical purpose and possibly earn them college credit.
This is real world stuff they're doing here, not some silly little worksheet or questions from the back of the chapter.
The hope is with these type of practical classes, it will keep students from getting frustrated and dropping out. Every year in Central Texas, we lose about $425 million in economic growth because of dropouts. We'll have a reporter inside Frank Erwin Center later on this morning when the study's released, and we'll have a live report tonight at 5 and 6. Live at the Frank Erwin Center this morning, Kate Whiteout, KXAN, Austin News.
After 2 years of intense research and community dialogue, a group called the E3 Alliance is set to announce its blueprint for educational change. Proponents of the plan believe it could drastically improve education in Central Texas and help to develop a more dynamic regional economy. KUT's Nathan Bernier reports.
The alliance itself includes the University of Texas at Austin, Austin Community College District, and the Austin Area Research Organization. E3's executive director Susan Dawson was sending off a flurry of emails in advance of today's unveiling of their blueprint for educational change.
We've got 4 goals that we have set, focusing through the continuum from readiness for school, readiness for kindergarten, through closing achievement gaps, getting students college and career ready. As a region, how do we bring this together? How do we create the understanding in Central Texas that we can create the strongest education pipeline in the country if we work together to do it?
The long list of objectives includes increasing attendance in pre-K programs, improving performance of low-income and minority students, figuring out what skills students need to work in the Central Texas region, expanding the Austin Community College tax district area, and trying to engage as much of the business and political community as possible. It's an ambitious plan, and it's one that Education Austin President Louis Malfero admits will face many challenges.
One of them is the so what effect. The problems that E3 is lifting up, many people feel are kind of endemic and aren't going to go away because we have named them.
And while E3 says the blueprint is aimed at increasing efficiencies, some measures would likely require additional funding, expanding the ACC tax district area while providing lower college tuition for high school students would mean higher property taxes for some homeowners.
The E3 Alliance has very laudable goals. However, I'm concerned that it appears that they may be simply rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic.
Peggy Venable speaks for the Texas chapter of Americans for Prosperity, which supports school vouchers.
So I appreciate that they're recognizing the problem and working to address it, but I think one of the key elements that we need to include in any plan is an opportunity for the parent to determine the education environment where their student may have the greatest opportunity to succeed.
But the E3 Alliance plan is aimed at strengthening the public school system, not redirecting money to private schools. And really only time will tell if it makes Central Texas a national model for education, as E3 hopes, or if it will fall on the heap of unrealized education ideas, or somewhere in between. Nathan Bernier, KUT News.
An announcement this morning to improve not just tax scores, but overall education in Central Texas. Business leaders, community volunteers, educators, they all met at the Irwin Center to unveil their plan for better educating our children. It's called the Blueprint for Educational Change. On an ongoing basis, the plan will better educate students so they're prepared to enter the Central Texas workforce.
It's all of us coming together and saying, if we as business leaders, as we have parents and communities work together, hand in glove with our schools, together we can make all of our students reach their highest potential.
That blueprint will contain action strategies, timelines, and benchmarks to judge its success.
A bold challenge issued today for schools here in Central Texas.
Get your kids to graduate and help them go to college. All new at 5, KXAN's Matt Fleener explains a blueprint for change to the way Central Texas schools think about education.
School leaders, businessmen and women, and students came here to the Frank Irwin Center, a graduation spot for many local high school students over the next few weeks. And they unveiled this blueprint for change in a very creative way.
We had 7,000 seats in this auditorium today that weren't filled by high schoolers who could have graduated and didn't.
Too many of our students never walk across the stage to take their diploma.
The group, called the E3 Alliance, says it's researched long and hard to unveil its plan and style.
We've spent literally thousands and thousands of hours with parents and teachers.
The Blueprint for Change covers 35 school districts in the Central Texas area. It calls for 95% of children to enter kindergarten ready to learn by 2020 and 20% higher scores on state tests for 8th graders by 2015. The plan goes further by calling for a 95% graduation rate for Central Texas kids by 2010 and calls for more community help.
I know it's kind of a big thought saying everyone has to get involved, but it's not about a huge step at one time.
Maybe drop back to here.
The plan includes specific steps like incentives to put experienced teachers in high-need schools and promoting business skills in the classroom, a plan that is sure to cost more money.
There's not a number figure that we can put on it now. It will require changes to the way we fund things at a state level, but it's just as much about how do we use our resources better.
The group that presented today will continue to meet with school leaders and politicians to gather funding and resources to make this plan work, a plan that is expected to take at least 10 to 15 years to put in place. At the Frank Irwin Center, Matt Fleener, KXAN Austin News.